folks. As I am filming this right now, it is Thursday, March 19th. I consider this whole self-isolation and all of these restrictions that had been imposed by our local and national government to have begun back on Monday, the 16th. And that means that this would be day number 4, in my view, of this temporary, quaint, laid-back lifestyle that we have all been subjected to. Okay, so let's update the numbers as of today. According to Johns Hopkins Coronavirus Research Center, as of 11:30 a.m. today, there have been 227,743 confirmed cases worldwide, with 9,415 in the U.S. alone. That number will continue to rise, but as I said at the end of the last episode, continue to live life without panicking. If you do feel sick, you know what to do. Isolate yourself. Don't push your limits, drink water, and find something to entertain yourself to pass the time. These are all things that should apply to any given cold and flu season. And if need be, then that's the time to go to the hospital. Plus, with tests becoming more and more accessible day by day, one can now know much quicker whether they have the COVID-19 virus or not. There have been so many reports surfacing as of late of people who are carriers of the virus that are asymptomatic, which makes figuring out who is positive and all of that a little bit more trickier. So, a quick personal story before we continue. One of my aunts who has lived in this house and now travels intermittently back and forth in recent years to the Philippines says that she has self-quarantined herself. No, she does not have the virus, but she only did this out of precaution as part of the province of Iloilo is being put on lockdown, as with many countries around the world at this current time. However, as I said, she is fine, and so is the rest of my extended family overseas. For everyone else watching this, please make sure you keep in close contact with your loved ones, especially if they live in other places of the world. And I know that this message has been battered over the head many times already, but with different nations implementing different restrictions, you just want to be reassured that they themselves are following everything that's being asked of them. In times like these, there couldn't be a more perfect opportunity to do a little bit of soul searching. Maybe you or someone you know might not be satisfied with the way life had treated you prior to this outbreak. Well, the fact that we have more time on our hands now means we can do just that. I know what you're probably thinking. Mark, I'd rather spend more time on Instagram and Snapchat scrolling through all these memes about the coronavirus. Well, that's just one way to burn time, but I highly doubt that you can spend your entire waking hours online. Plus, it will get old eventually. The point is, no matter what age you are, whether you're younger or getting up there in age, never stop learning. Pick up a novel. Go through all those TV shows and movies that you have put off for the last year or so. Perhaps if you're someone who's in college, about to graduate, or thinking about what kind of career you'll have, research your passion. Plan for what you see yourself doing when all of this blows over so that you can hit the ground running. It's all about breaking out of the funk while we're in a funk. That's just one way of doing soul searching. And I could talk about other ways to self-improve yourself, but I don't want to bore you folks even more. Instead, I will share with you what I have planned to do in case this crisis goes well into April. Okay, so as you saw in that little montage there, I wrote a lot of things down in this blue paper called COVID-19 Soul Searching, and a bunch of books that I plan on reading. Four of them are fictional books. Two of them are June books by Frank Herbert. The first one has been made into a movie and is going to be released sometime this year. And then, of course, we got two famous books in Brave New World by Aldous Huxley and 1984 by George Orwell. And then I got some nonfiction books. Learning How to Be a Good Leader is one of them. How Super Mario and Nintendo became quite big in America, a geek in Japan. Obviously, I'm a big gamer, and I also aspire to get to know anime a lot more. So this will be a good book for me to read. And then I recently took up stock investing. Yeah, just made a Robinhood account recently and started to buy shares of some big corporations, including Coca-Cola and Microsoft. But I am no expert at stock investing, so that's why I'm going to try to read this over the course of the next several weeks and learn how to be a savvy investor while the market is haywire. So we got that. Video games, all of them are Legend of Zelda games. I've always wanted to become a big Zelda fan, just as much as I am a big Mario fan currently. But there just has not been enough time for me to play video games lately, with me trying to balance work as a music instructor and then among other pursuits in my life. Then over on the other side, anime. One of my piano students recommended me to get this app called AniStream. I don't know if it's any good or not, but you could let me know in the comments section. But I got some animes that I will try to watch on my own time as well, including Yuri on Ice, Speed Racer. I know that one's a classic. Tokyo Ghoul and You Lie in April. Two other animes that I have heard is pretty well known in the anime community. And then we got a bunch of music books, including the Technique of Orchestration. Yeah, Technique of Orchestration, and also A Complete Idiot's Guide to Music Composition are two books that I really want to invest a lot of time into, because, believe it or not, what I want to get out of this, or let me rephrase, what I hope to accomplish by the end of this hysteria is to be able to compose an ensemble piece, whether it be for a concert band, or wind ensemble, or even just a small chamber group. I want to be able to say that I composed something that a group was able to play. I'm hoping to compose something for high school or middle school bands. That would be a pretty cool, neat experience to do that. But I would also like to have a professional orchestra play whatever I decide to write. And then listening to a lot of music, classical music. I really want to get more into symphonies, concertos, orchestras, so I have a whole list on there. Gustav Holst, Stravinsky, The Rite of Spring, and the Symphony of Psalms, Mozart, Mahler, Beethoven, and I didn't even write down my movies and TV shows yet, so I gotta get on that. Then on this orange page is a workout routine, because the gyms are all closed. I got a perfect push-up and ab roller. I have those two items in my possession, and of course a treadmill in my basement. And then when the weather gets better, weather permitting, and if we are not gonna be ordered to shelter in place, I would certainly like to go bike riding for over an hour, running, and just a regular stroll occasionally. So there's also one other important little bit that I wrote down on the bottom of the blue page. The whole point of doing soul searching is pretty much to improve your life. I want to be a better son to my parents because they are not getting any younger, and I'm also getting a little older, and I am expected very soon to make a lot of income to be able to take care of them, but also to be a better friend. If there's people who I know I've done some silly errors, and I want to be able to own up to the mistakes that I've made in the past, and what better way to look at yourself in the mirror and see what you can improve on than in a time like this. So be a better son and be a better friend. Realistically, am I going to be able to check off every single thing that is written here on this list? Most likely no, but if I can get a vast majority of these items checked off, that is a big accomplishment in and of itself. And soul searching for me is just another way to say self-improvement. And I want to be able to get out into the real world, back into my daily routine once this pandemic blows through, a little bit more informed, a little bit more knowledgeable. And I don't have this opportunity on a daily basis. And currently we are in an indefinite period of self-isolation and limited outdoor activity. So I might as well take advantage of all this time that I have at my disposal to arm myself with a lot more knowledge and gain new perspective on the world. So I'm looking forward to this, and the great thing about this list is that I can always change it whenever I want to. I might substitute, or I might even add some more to the list. The possibilities are endless when we're in quite a period of time like this. So I got all these books to read, these games to play, TV shows to watch, and as the cherry on top, by the way, I've connected my laptop to my TV. There's a really good wallpaper from Super Mario Maker 2. But I recently downloaded MuseScore, and so I have the opportunity to be able to create a musical work during the coronavirus pandemic. And a musical work, by the way, that is meant for a large ensemble, like a concert band, wind ensemble, orchestras for middle school, high school, and even the professionals. So I want to be able to say that I created a musical work during the coronavirus pandemic, very much like the way Shakespeare wrote Macbeth, King Lear, and Antony and Cleopatra during the plague. Honesty is such a lonely word. Everyone is so untrue. Honesty is hardly ever heard, and mostly what I need from you. Anyone who's a Billy Joel fan can instantly recognize the lyrics to the song appropriately titled Honesty, which was written in the late 70s in one of Billy Joel's earlier albums. And honesty is really something that applies in every facet of life. But especially in a time like this, honesty should have been upfront. And instead, we got the exact opposite. Let's take a look at China. We know it's a communist country. Government has control over everything, including what information to pass to the media. We all know, and it's safe to say, that China's withholding of vital information about the coronavirus caused this situation to get out of control. Then you look at Italy. Talk about absence of information. why was there such a huge amount of casualties in Italy alone? Are all the casualties widespread, or were they localized to one region? What was going on in there? Something we didn't know was happening, and information was being withheld from the media. And then we had people who were traveling to Italy coming back, and they were starting to infect people here in the USA. It felt so vague and cryptic, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people had their own conspiracy theories uh, as to why Italy ended up being hit so hard by the COVID-19 virus. Even I had some glaring questions, like, was there air pollution that caused the virus to be a little bit more aggressive in people? Were people not taking the whole virus seriously? Beats me. And then we look at just the media in general. If you look at the number of people infected and the number of fatalities, we see that the margin is still small. There really is no need to instill fear. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in the situation that we are in now.